Talofa, Malele, Bula, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 11 of Breakfast Bites by TEIVOVOsports.com. A wrap of Pasifika Peoples sports on another partly cloudy but sunny Wednesday morning, 12 April 2023. Coming to you from paradise on the 180th meridian in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Thank you, girls. In rugby union, we start with Super W competition. On Friday, the Brumbies versus the Rebels at 7:05 p.m. And on Sunday, New South Wales Waratahs versus the Queensland Reds at 5:05 p.m. And the Western Force versus the Fijiana Drua at 7:05 p.m. Can they bounce back? Only 4 games of Super Rugby Round 8 this weekend, starting on Friday with Moana Pasifika versus the Reds at 4:05 p.m. and the Brumbies versus the Fijian Drua in freezing Canberra at 9:35 p.m. And on Saturday, the Hurricanes versus the Chiefs at 2:35 p.m. and the New South Wales Waratahs versus the Force at 9:35 p.m. In Rugby League, NRL Round 7 draw, all times Australian Eastern Standard Time. On Thursday, the Dolphins versus South Sydney at Suncorp Stadium at 7:50 p.m. On Friday, Cronulla Sharks versus Sydney Roosters at PointsBet Stadium at 6 p.m. and Manly versus the Storm at 4 Pines Park at 8 p.m. On Saturday, the New Zealand Warriors versus the Cowboys at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland at 3 p.m. The Knights versus the Panthers at McDonald Jones Stadium, somewhere in Oz. And at 5:30 p.m., the Gold Coast Titans versus the Broncos at Seabus Super Stadium at 7:35 p.m. On Sunday, the Canberra Raiders versus St. George Dragons at GIO Stadium at 2 p.m. and the Parramatta Eels versus the Bulldogs at Combank Stadium at 4 p.m. In football, Germany's top soccer leagues are slowly but surely recovering from the effects of COVID-19. The governing body of the Bundesliga reported revenues of US $4.9 billion for the 2021-2022 season, up 11% from the previous season. While it's the first revenue increase since the start of COVID, it still lags behind pre-pandemic numbers of $5.2 billion US revenue in the 2018-2019 season. In sports biz, Mukesh Ambani, owner of the Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League, is the world's richest team owner according to Forbes. Ambani, whose net worth is US $83.4 billion, is chairman of Reliance Industries, a conglomerate with interest in everything in India and around the world, especially energy, retail and telecommunications. A dip in Microsoft stock knocked Steve Ballmer down into second spot with a net worth of $80.7 US billion. Ballmer can often be spotted courtside at home games of his Los Angeles Clippers. Of the top 20 richest owners, 8 own football teams. In boxing, talk about no mercy. Israel Adesanya has been slammed for taunting Alex Pereira's son after his knockout win at UFC 287 in Miami last Sunday. After the Kiwi Nigerian reclaimed his UFC middleweight title with a vicious second-round KO of the Brazilian, he mimed pulling 3 arrows out and firing them at Pereira, which is part of the former champion's famous entrance. Adesanya then went searching for Pereira's son in the crowd, who was crying following his dad's KO loss. But Adesanya refused to show any mercy. He made a point of staring straight at Pereira's son before theatrically dropping to the floor. Adesanya later revealed he had done so because the boy did it in a similar thing to him after their last fight, which his father Alex Pereira won by KO. Just beautiful. The sweet science of UFC. For TEIVOVOsports.com, I'm Kalden Kamea. Mahalo, Vina'a, and thank you. Please hit the subscribe button below if you'd like to receive more Pasifika sports highlights on Breakfast Bites. And thank you all, to Mas, for all your love and support.
P.A. Go Mamaroni!
Thank you, girls.